Hi everyone, in this session we will cover the essentials of state management in Angular user Redux. With the help of an example, we will demonstrate how to use it. In later videos, we will take a deeper dive into more advanced concepts. By the end of this video, viewers will understand what Redux is and why it is used in Angular, how to install and set up NgRx in an Angular project, the concepts of state, actions, reducers, and selectors, how to dispatch actions and select data in components, and how to debug with NgRx DevTools. So we will build a simple counter app, small enough to grasp quickly, but powerful enough to show how Redux works. So let's get started. In a previous video, we learned how to manage session data in simple Angular project using a shared service. In this session, we will take things further by exploring Redux, a design pattern for predictable state management. The main idea behind Redux is that your application state is kept in a single store, and any change to that state occurs only through actions that describe what happened, not how it happens. In Angular, the most widely used implementation of Redux is NgRx, which provides powerful and scalable way to manage application states. Let's start with a new Angular project and install NgRx. So I am using this Angular version. If you are using Angular 19 standalone components, NgRx integrates smoothly without modules. And with this command, we create our demo project. And inside the created folder, we will install NgRx using this command. As you see, and installation is done. We will build a simple counter that can increment, decrement, and reset a value, an integer value. We open the created project using an editor. I'm using IntelliJ. We create the actions. Actions are plain objects that describe what happened, but not how the state should change. We create a folder called, for example, state. And inside this, we define our actions from Redux. So we create a new file. Let's call it counters actions. It is TypeScript file. And this is the code. As you see here, we are using this method create action. It accepts one string. So we define 3 actions from the store, from NgRx store. Those are just a definition, so they are not yet implemented. We define it as constant, one for increment, decrement, and reset. So those are for now just actions. We need to connect them to our data, and for that we create the reducer, and the reducer defines how the state changes based on actions. So let's create second TypeScript file. And we add this code there. This is simple one. This is our reducer, and there is one method from NgRx store called create reducer, and we save it as constant here. We have defined this value. This is our data. For our example is very simple one. And we have these methods, the first one, on, and we connect to the actions called increment. And as you see here, it is imported from the actions that we have defined, and it accepts this lambda method, state, and here we decrement, and here increment, and here in reset, we just return in 0 to set the value to 0. Now we have to register the store, and this by adding as import in the root of the application, so Angular knows about it. The application configuration, as we are using a standalone feature, in the provider we define it, so like this. So this is all we need to do. Our project is, so now Angular is aware of the store, and this is very important. Now we will create a standalone component that connects to the store. It will display the counter value and dispatch actions when buttons are clicked. So we create our components like this. Components has been created, and I already prepared this code. So here I have my HTML inside my TS for simplicity, and this is my counter component, and the constructor, this is important parts. We need to inject the store, and we define the counter inside this store, and this is an observable to select the data using this counter from the reducer. I defined this method, use it in my template. On increment, it calls the object store, and this is the most important thing, is dispatch. We dispatch actions. This is increment from the actions we defined here. So whenever we need to make change, we go through the store. Similar here to the decrement method, and also the on reset. And as already explained, we define this observable to get the information or the value whenever changed. So let's run the application and see in the browser. Let's open the browser. In our application, the main application component, here we need to remove all these things and use the app counter, and we need to import it. Now we can open the browser, and as you see, this is our application with 3 buttons. When we increment here, so the number change, decrement, and we can also reset. So one more thing, an important, so how to debug, and for that you need to install NgRx DevTools. So let me show you how to do that. So let's stop it, and using this command, let's see npm install store DevTools. As you will see, this is very powerful. I got an error because I have an old version, so we can use this one. It is just a demo, don't do that on the production. Let's run. It's great, has been installed. Let's run the application again. So this is my port. Let's see. So this is my application, decrement and everything. Let's open the DevTools, and as you see, we have installed Redux, so it is yet recognized. If we go here, it tell me, okay, I have something defined here. So this is really very powerful because you have everything here. You can check the state, all the state in your projects. You can see the action that you have and everything. So this is really very powerful. Let's go back to the action, to the state. So this is really powerful to debug your application. Everything is available in this extension. In this video, we learned how to use NgRx to manage state in Angular. We created actions, reducers, and selectors. We connected our component to the store, and we saw how state updates automatically, and we used DevTools to debug our flow. So thanks for watching. If you found this tutorial helpful, give it a thumb up and subscribe for more Angular and Spring Boot tutorial.